We are here today because of the fact that we have what most people consider an unusual friendship. And it is, and yet it feels natural to us now. I first learned that my son had been in the World Trade Center on the morning of September 11th, 2001. We didn't know if he had perished yet until 36 hours later. At the time, we knew that it was political. We were afraid of what our country was going to do in the name of our son, my husband Orlando and I, and our family. And when I saw it, and yet, through the shock and the terrible shock and the terrible explosion in our lives, literally, we were not vengeful. And a couple of weeks later, when Zacarias Moussaoui was indicted on 6 counts of conspiracy to commit terrorism, and the US government called for a death penalty for him if convicted, my husband and I spoke out in opposition for that publicly. Through that and through human rights groups, we were brought together with several other victims' families. When I saw Aisha in the media coming over when her son was indicted, and I thought, what a brave woman. Someday I want to meet that woman when I'm stronger. I was still in deep grief. I knew I didn't have the strength. I knew I would find her someday, or we would find each other. Because when people heard that my son was a victim, I got immediate sympathy. But when people learned what her son was accused of, she didn't get that sympathy. But her suffering is equal to mine. So we met in November 2002, and Aisha will now tell you how that came about.
Bonsoir, messieurs, dames.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Je suis la maman de Zacarias Moussaoui.
I am the mother of Zacarias Moussaoui.
Quand elle est arrivée, j'ai demandé les droits de l'homme pour me faire contacter des parents des victimes.
Organization of Human Rights to put me in touch with the parents of the victims.
Et ils m'ont présenté cinq familles.
Introduced me to 5 families.
Et mon regard s'est posé sur Phyllis.
And I saw Phyllis and I watched her.
Elle était la seule mère.
She was the only mother in the group.
Les autres, c'était des frères, des sœurs.
The others were brothers, sisters.
Dans son regard, j'ai compris que c'était une mère comme moi.
And I saw in her eyes that she was a mother just like me.
Je suis une mère que j'ai beaucoup souffert.
I suffered a lot as a mother.
D'abord un mariage à 14 ans.
I was married when I was 14.
J'ai perdu un enfant quand j'avais 15 ans.
I lost a child when I was 15.
Un deuxième quand j'avais 16 ans.
A second child when I was 16.
Et donc l'histoire de Zacarias a fait déborder.
So the story with Zacarias was too much, really.
Et ma souffrance, elle continue.
And I still suffer.
Parce que mon fils, il est enterré vivant.
Because my son is he's buried alive.
Je sais qu'il a pleuré pour son fils.
I know she really cried for her son.
Elle sait où il est.
But she knows where he is.
Moi, mon fils, je ne sais pas si il est torturé, je ne sais pas s'il est vivant, je ne sais pas qu'est-ce qu'il est devenu, mon fils.
My son, I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's alive. I don't know if he's tortured. I don't know what happened to him.
Et c'est pour ça que j'ai décidé, la souffrance, elle sera positive pour les autres.
So that's why I decided to tell my story, so that my suffering is something positive for other women.
Pour toutes les femmes, pour toutes les mères ils donnent la vie.
For all the women, all the mothers that give life.
On peut redonner quelque chose, on peut changer quelque chose.
You can give back. You
C'est à nous de le faire, les
change.
femmes.
It's up to us,
Parce qu'on est
women,
des femmes.
because we are women,
Et parce qu'on aime nos enfants.
because we love our children.
Et donc on doit faire la main dans la main et faire quelque chose ensemble.
We must be hand in hand and do something together.
C'est pas contre les hommes, pour les hommes et pour nous.
It's
Pour
not
nos
against
enfants.
women, it's for us women, for our children.
Je vais dans des écoles, je parle pour les jeunes filles musulmanes, pour pas se marier. Je vais aussi contre la violence, contre le terrorisme.
I talk against violence, against terrorism. I go to schools to talk to young Muslim girls so that they don't accept to be married against their will, very young.
Et si je peux sauver une fille ou deux de ce mariage horrible, cette violence à l'intérieur de... Je me rappelle de moi, c'est une gloire malgré que je suis malheureuse.
So unless, if I can save one of the young girls and avoid that they get married and suffer as much as I did, well, this is something good.
C'est pour cette raison que je suis là.
This is why I'm here in
Yes.
front of you.
I would like to say that I have learned so much from Aisha. Starting with that day, we had our very first meeting with other family members, which was a very private meeting with security, because it was November 2002. And frankly, we were afraid of the super patriotism at that time, the country, those of us family members. But we were all so nervous. Why does she want to meet us? And then she was nervous. Why did we want to meet her? What did we want from each other? Before we knew each other's names or anything, we had embraced and wept. Then we sat in a circle with support, with help from people experienced in this kind of reconciliation. And Aisha started, and she said, I don't know if my son is guilty or innocent, but I want to tell you how sorry I am for what happened to your families. I know what it is to suffer, and I feel that if there is a crime, a person should be tried fairly and punished. But she reached out to us in that way, and it was, I like to say, it was an icebreaker, you know? And what happened then is we all told our stories, and we all connected as human beings. By the end of the afternoon, it was about 3 hours after lunch, we felt as if we'd known each other forever. Now, what I learned from her is a woman not only who could be so generous under these present circumstances and what it was then and what was being done to her son, but the life she's had. I never had met someone with such a hard life from such a totally different culture and environment from my own. And I feel that we have a special connection, which I value very much. And I think it's all about being afraid of the other, but making that step, and then realizing, hey, this wasn't so hard. Who else can I meet that I don't know or that I'm so different from? So, Aisha, do you have a couple of words for conclusion? Because our time is up.
Je voulais dire que il faut essayer de connaître l'autre.
I wanted to say that we have to try to know other people, the other.
Il faut être généreuse, généreux de cœur.
You have to be generous, and
Et
your
des
heart
esprits.
must be generous. Your mind must be
Et
generous.
de la tolérance.
You must be tolerant.
Il faut lutter contre la violence.
You have to fight against violence.
Et j'espère qu'un jour on va vivre ensemble dans la paix et dans le respect des uns et des autres.
And I hope that someday
Voilà
we'll
qu'est-ce que
all
je vous
live
demande.
together in peace and respecting each other. This is what I wanted to say.